The current monetary system tends to render people debt slaves who fall into the trap of using debt primarily as a means of enjoyment, but not necessarily necessary for something constructive. So they go into debt for fun, in other words, instead of productivity. When people go into debt to buy a new car, a nice, expensive car, so they're looking good, when they could have gotten along with a one-year-old car with maybe a little scratch on the door, that's a decision they make that feels good at the time, but when the day comes, or the rainy day comes, when they need cash, they don't have it because they're in debt. And so they can't do, further down the line, there are things that they cannot do, and therein lies the issue of slavery. You're limited to what you can do. If you don't have credit, and you don't have cash in the bank, and you don't have friends who are willing to give you charity, you're a slave. And if you're not independent, if you can't take care of yourself, then you must be dependent on somebody else to take care of you. And who is that? Well, it used to be the family. But nowadays, for the last probably 100 years, it's no longer the family. It's the government. And of course, the politicians think that's just fine. They love to take care of you because that gives them power over you. So you become a slave in that sense too. But this time, you're enslaved to those who have authority within the government, your new rulers. So all of that are sort of indirect ways of describing a debt slavery. But it all comes from the fact that you're living on resources that you did not produce. They're resources which you acquired by going into debt, and you have to pay them back someday in some way. And you'll either pay it back in terms of monetary value or productivity, or you'll pay it back in terms of your freedom.